Let's be honest, in the world of AI, one name pretty much dominates the conversation, right? But what if I told you a major contender, one that was born from inside that very world, was built with a totally different mission in mind? Today, we're diving deep into Claude, the AI assistant from Anthropic. It was created by former OpenAI members who left to build an AI that's not just incredibly powerful, but also safe and genuinely helpful, right from its very core.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with its pretty fascinating origin story. Then we'll break down the different models you can actually use: Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. After that, we'll get into the secret sauce, constitutional AI, that really makes it unique. Of course, we have to see how it stacks up against the competition. And finally, we'll look ahead to its really ambitious future.
So you have to go back to 2021. Anthropic was founded by Dario and Daniela Amodi, a brother and sister duo who are actually super important figures over at OpenAI, working on things like GPT-3. But they, along with a few other top researchers, decided to leave. Why? Well, they had growing concerns about AI safety. They had this core belief that as these models got more and more powerful, making sure they were helpful and harmless had to be priority number one. And out of that mission, Anthropic and its AI, Claude, were born.
And boy, has the evolution been fast. I mean, look at this timeline. From the first Claude to Claude 2, which made this huge splash with a 100,000 token context window. That was industry-leading at the time. And they're not slowing down. The roadmap is pointing towards Claude 4 and an absolutely massive 200,000 token context window. To give you a sense of what that means, that's like feeding the AI a 500-page book and having it remember every single word, every detail, all at once.
And see, right from the very beginning, Anthropic's goal was never just to build a better chatbot. Their CEO said it perfectly. The goal is a virtual collaborator. This isn't about an AI that just spits back answers to your questions. It's about an AI designed to work with you, side by side, on really complex stuff, remembering the context of your project for a long, long time. That vision of a true partner really shapes every single thing they do.
So now there's this whole family of Claude models, which brings up the big question: which one should you actually use? Well, Anthropic has made this surprisingly easy. They've set them up in 3 really clear tiers, so you can always pick the right tool for whatever you're trying to do.
The best way to think about it is like this. Haiku is your sprinter. It is built for pure speed, just lightning-fast responses. So it's perfect for things like customer service chats where you need thousands of instant answers. Sonnet is your all-rounder. It's that smart balance of speed and power, probably the one you'd use for most of your daily work. And then there's Opus. Opus is the deep thinker, the marathon runner. You bring this one out for your most complex problems, where you need sophisticated reasoning and accuracy is everything. So, the bottom line is pretty simple. For most of your everyday stuff, Sonnet is going to be your go-to. It's powerful, it's fast, and it's cost-effective. But when you're up against a really tough challenge, deep research, complex financial modeling, maybe some advanced coding, that's when you call in the specialist. That's when you use Opus for maximum power.
So what is it that really makes Claude different under the hood? Well, it's this unique training philosophy they developed called constitutional AI. And this is not just some filter they slap on at the end. No, it's baked into its core, designed to make the AI helpful, harmless, and honest right from the very start.
Okay, so what does that actually mean? Well, constitutional AI is a process where the model basically learns to align itself with a set of principles, its constitution. So instead of needing an army of humans to tell it what's good and bad, the AI is trained to critique its own answers based on these rules, and then revise them. It makes the whole process of making a safe AI way more scalable and a lot less prone to individual human biases. It works in 2 really clever steps. First, the AI learns to be its own editor. It writes a response, then it checks that response against its constitution. And if it's not good enough, it rewrites it to be better. Then, in step 2, it reinforces that learning. Another AI model is trained on all those self-corrections, and it learns to prefer the helpful and harmless answers. It's a really smart way to teach an AI ethics at a massive scale.
And just so you know, we're not talking about some vague, fluffy set of rules here. This constitution is a serious document, and it draws from globally recognized sources, including principles from the UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That just shows you how deeply committed Anthropic is to grounding its AI in some really solid ethical frameworks.
Okay, so the philosophy is impressive, the safety-first approach is great. But the big question is, can it actually perform? Let's put Claude in the ring with its main rivals and see how it really stacks up when it matters. First up, let's just come back to that context window, because it is massive. 200,000 tokens. That is an incredible amount of information. Again, we're talking about the equivalent of 150,000 words or a 500-page novel in a single go. For tasks like analyzing long, dense legal documents or entire software code bases, this is an absolute game changer.
And when it comes to coding, wow, the numbers really tell the story here. On this benchmark, which tests how well an AI can solve real-world software problems, Claude Opus 4 scores a remarkable 72.5%. That puts it significantly ahead of both GPT 4.1 and Gemini 2.5 Pro. For any developers out there, that is a huge deal.
But look, it's not a total clean sweep. It's more like each of these models has its own specialty. Claude absolutely shines with coding and handling huge documents. GPT-4 is often praised for its creative writing and just broad general knowledge. And Gemini, well, its superpower is its deep integration with the whole Google ecosystem and its ability to handle not just text and images, but audio and video too. So the best choice really comes down to what you need to do.
So where does Claude go from here? Well, it all circles back to that original vision, the virtual collaborator. The next big frontier for Anthropic is to move Claude beyond being a conversational assistant and into something way more active and autonomous.
And the key phrase you're going to hear more and more is agentic AI. This is the next leap. See, an agentic AI doesn't just sit there and wait for your next command. You can give it a high-level goal, and it can figure out a plan, use tools like a web browser, or run code, and take multiple steps all on its own to get the job done.
And we're already seeing this start to happen. The roadmap for Claude is just packed with these agentic abilities. This includes this new beta feature called computer use, which can actually let Claude interact with your desktop, move the cursor, click things, type into different applications, all to complete a task, just like a human assistant would. It's pretty wild.
And that brings us to the final, really big question here. Claude and systems like it represent this massive shift toward AI as an active partner. So, as these systems go from being passive tools that we command to proactive collaborators that we work alongside, it's going to change everything. It's not just about getting our work done faster. It's about fundamentally reshaping the way we think, the way we create, and the way we solve problems themselves.